Hello, my wonderful friends. Megas here on a beautiful day in Asha. If you're brand new to the channel, we're Zoroastrians. We are the Magi. Oh, do I have a message for you today? So they just met in Switzerland, all the great minds like they always do. And they talked about information theory and quantum physics and AI. And something stuck out to me that they said. They said, all is mind. And my God, we've been saying this for thousands of years. Matter of fact, it took me right to Asha 6. But what do we do with that information? Great, it's assimilation. Great, all is mind. How does that help me today? I'm going to share that with you. And this might be one of the most profound videos we've made in 12 years. And I want to dedicate it to our wonderful Ashavan Timmy. And listen to this. So yesterday I shared with you Timmy's story. In the comments, she said, Asha is. I love you too. Yes, I was seeking healing. I had come forward in the church I went to many times. They anointed me with oil and they prayed, but nothing happened. And my son Stephen said, Mom, you have to hear this guy. And he played the sacred text of the Order of the Magi. I love that. Asha is. There's power in truth. There's power in this little orange book, thousands of years old, but the word in the words changes lives now. It's more than information. Wait till you see where we're going, my friends. This is so beautiful. She said the sacred text of the Order of the Magi, the 16 statements of teaching. I knew I would be healed, and I was. Asha healed me. And I love this. Thank you. This touched my heart so much. She said, Megas, you are the one who brought me Asha. I was living in a hell, so many conditions, OCD, agoraphobia, nightmares of choking on something in my throat every night, 3 or 4 times a night. I would wake up choking, yelling for help. And my poor husband put up with me waking him. She had dreams of not being able to breathe, that she was underwater, so many phobias, so many conditions. Thank you, Megas. I was healed. I would listen to that video 3 or 4 times a day. And I love this part. This is important. And I still listen to it. Bless you. My friends, she would reprogram her mind with right information. Because there is malware out there, false information. And my friends, the information that you hold is the world that you're going to live in. And so I got to share this with you. Have you heard of the story of Mary in the black and white room? This will open up your mind to how you can change your life today. So the story of Mary in the black and white room is that she knew everything about color. Right? She could tell you how it goes into the cones in your eyes and the neural pathways and how to register it and the chemicals, and could tell you everything about the color blue and the color orange. But something happened. She was raised in this black and white room with no color, and she had all this information. But when she went outside of that room and there's a blue sky, and there's orange and yellow and red flowers, she couldn't recognize it. She knew everything about it. And so it makes us think, did she learn anything? Is knowledge, does that mean anything, my friends? It's about the experience of it. And knowing about the blue sky is not the blue sky. And this takes us to God. To know about God is not God. My friends, information is not the thing, right? So if you have wrong information about God, or let's even start with this. You have information about God. We'll go deeper. And God shows up. You have the knowledge of God. God shows up. Would you even recognize it? Like Mary, they couldn't recognize the blue sky because she had no experience of it. Are you seeing where I'm going with this? And then on top of that, there's malware. There's false information about God. And this is what blew me away. This is why the world looks like hell on earth. My friends, because of the false information of God. And God here, we're just talking about the highest principle of good that we hold is a consciousness, is humankind. right? And so if our highest idea of God gets angry, jealous, hates, sends sickness and disease, a warring God, a conditional loving God, my friends, any monster could show up and that looks like that, say they're God, right? And then they could tell you, hey, sacrifice your son to show you're loyal to me. You would do it because God said to do it. They could say, go in and kill the men, women, and children and bring back all the riches to your God. People would do it because God said to do it. He could say, stone your child, your own child, for being disrespectful, mouthing off. You would do it because God said it. My friends, even in the Bible that they call the good book, right? It says that the soldiers could keep little women sex slaves. Hey, but God ordained it, so it must be okay. My friends, that's malware. That's false information. So how would you ever recognize God, right? It makes me think of the story of Jesus. God shows up, and what do? They crucify because it looks nothing like the information they have. And this malware, this false information, this fear creates a hell on earth. Right? Just like you saw with Timmy, right? She was raised up in those Abrahamic religions with that false idea of God. And what did it cause? OCD, right? Just fear and nightmares and hell on earth. How was it healed? How was it fixed? Right? They couldn't pray it away. You couldn't medicate it away. Their education, right? Someone might have a doctorate and could sit down and psychoanalyze you and give you everything they have, and it can't heal it. They can maybe deal with symptoms, right? But the thing that caused the problem cannot heal the problem. You need that truth. You need what's real to live in the real world. And again, it takes us to Asha 6. I promise you guys, we're going to be in Asha 6, and then in Zoroaster's own writings, we're going to Song 8. And by the end of this, my friends, by the time we hit Yatahu and Shemvahu, your life will never be the same, because we're going to remove the malware, the false information. We're going to put in truth in the real information, my friends, and it will create a real world, a true world, a good world. My God, I'm having fun today. I love you, Timmy. This message is for you. You inspire me. You know, we've been around for a long time, the Magi, and a lot of people come and they get the truth. They're true Ashavans, and it changes their lives. And you know, some of them, they get all the Asha hoodies and all the books, and they're with me, and they've even made videos, but sometimes they just kind of fade away. But there's always that connection, right? There's that quantum entanglement, right? When two minds come together that powerful, and I'll just think of them sometimes, and they'll show up in the comments, but they're not here every day like Timmy is. And that means the world to me, Timmy, and I love you so much. And that's why I'm dedicating this most powerful message to you today, because you stand with me. You encourage me with just your loyalty and your love and your passion for Asha. Go to Asha 6. Asha 6 says, I look inward to the God mind and experience soundness of mind. There's power in soundness of mind. The false ideas of God, the false religions, that malware makes a sick mind and then makes a sick world. My friends, I look inward to the God mind, that fravashi, that divine spark. I fast from the outside world. I close my eyes to the world that has been built with lie and malware. And I go inside to that true information, and I start to attune myself to that frequency, that energy, that God. And I experience soundness of mind. Thoughts make your world. Beliefs make your thoughts. This is the mechanics of it, my friends. Thoughts make your world. What do you think about God? What do you think about yourself? What do you think about the world? Thoughts make your world. Beliefs make your thoughts, right? What you believe, what mom and dad taught you, grandma and grandpa, society deems acceptable, right? That's your beliefs, and that's what you're going to be thinking. Beliefs make your thoughts. Reason makes your beliefs, right? And a lot of people, they don't use reason. Why do you believe what you believe? Is it because you've looked at all the information and you have a reason to believe? Are your truths and beliefs, were they just handed to you by where you were born on the earth? The religion, the societal norms. Mind reasons. Now here's what I want you to see. Mind is the reason. Mind is all. All is mind. Know this, then the illusion goes away. Belief, oh, please get this. This is it. Belief in only good. Belief in only good. Let me say it one more time. Let this sink in. Belief in only good. It is this complete trust that brings out manifestations now real. Real. They're real above all that seems real, as they already are, by means of reason. There's a real above all real. The only thing that could come from a good creator's good mind is good. The true world, the real world, is just good. This takes us to Zoroaster. Zoroaster means pure starlight, undefiled, undiluted, unmixed. Unmixed. It's not love and hate. It's not good and evil. My friends, it's just good. The highest principle of good. That's the only thought that could come from God, the highest principle of good's mind. That's the real world. When false information comes in and you hold that frequency, that's what you live in. That's the dimension you live in. I'm not going to get too deep in this, but just for my scientific friends, it's coherence. And it's when things decohere. So, in a quantum state, they have to keep it, cold, right? And if it starts to warm, then it can start to fall apart. And so when you're holding false ideas of God and fear and low frequencies, that's the idea of it warming. And it's creating disturbance and it decoheres. My friends, when we hold that true information, that's that pure state. My friends. Okay, I don't want to get too far into it because we've gone through, I pull out the whiteboard and I've gone through all the equations. No one's been healed and saved from one of my videos where I go through all the math, right, and break it down. You must have this experience. I want you to experience God. I want you to experience good. I want you to experience truth. So you experience heaven on earth. You experience Asha, the only thing that could come from a perfect creator's perfect mind. Perfection. By the way, real quick, Asha by Winston Head, 16 Statements and Teachings of the Magi, available at Amazon, $3.83. We make no money off of our books or ministry, my friends. It's just about getting the message out there. And then we've also done a version of Zoroaster's Gathas. I want to stay on track. I get so passionate about this. But let me just say this. We have word-for-word translations of the Gathas. I've taught out of it many times, but that's not what this one is. This one is getting the word that's in the words, the spirit of it, my friends. And just like a great example, we're going to be going through the two most powerful prayers of Zoroastrianism because that's all about attuning to this highest truth, Asha. But if you did a word-for-word breakdown, it misses the meaning. What you're basically going to be doing is peeking behind the veil today. You will have complete understanding. You will have a reason to believe, because without reason, my friends, you won't experience God. Right? Have you ever done that? Maybe you or your child was sick and you're begging out to a deity in the sky and nothing happens. You try to cut a deal, right? I'll stop doing this. I'll stop doing that. I'll start giving to charity. Please just help me. And nothing happens. My friends, because a prayer is not begging some deity in the sky. A prayer is to decree and declare with your very life where you are the prayer. My friends, and so it is, because there's no other choice, because whatever frequency you hold, whatever beliefs you hold, your thoughts make your world. So we're going to raise our thoughts of God. We're going to remove those false ideas and stories. It's going to change your world. And so what we did here with the Gathas of Zoroaster is we've taken that word into words, just like we did with the sacred prayers. And Song 8 says the law of Asha. This is cosmic law. My friends, you're living in it already, but you're creating with the malware that's been put into you. It says, verse 1, whatever I give returns. Whatever I sow in thought or word ripens in the field of being, for Asha is perfect justice. Each heart receives its own reflection. Verse 2, you cannot deceive the power, for it lives within you. There is no bargain, no bribe, no plea, only the resonance of your vibration echoing back as your world. Those who give deceit harvest confusion. Those who offer love reap peace. Every act is seed and song, and the universe repeats the melody that you choose to play. Verse 4, O Mazda, wise and watchful, you are the law behind all laws, not as judge, but as harmony itself, balancing every note, restoring order to the music of souls. Right? There's a divine spark or Vavashi, Vohumana, that God mind in you. And you go in, like Zoroaster said, I who am attuning myself to your song, Mazda. You go inside and you hear that song of pure love and peace and joy. And you attune to that where it is you. Verse 5. The fool prays for reward while sowing discord in secret. But the wise know the secret prayer, to align with the good mind and let Asha give what is due. Verse 6, when I live in truth, the world lives kindly towards me. Peace greets me in every face, for what I am within shines forth as what I meet without. Is this good? Verse 7, no temple can contain this power. No priest can sell its grace. It moves through every living being, answers each heart according to its own light. Verse 8, therefore I give as the wise one gives, freely, joyfully, without thought of return. For giving and receiving are one motion, and love cannot be diminished by its expression. Verse 9, when I am one with the all-good Spirit, every action is worship, every breath a blessing. Heaven is no longer a hope. It is the natural consequence of alignment. Oh, chills in my body. Let me read that again. When I am one, this is verse 9 of Song 8, when I am one with the all-good Spirit, every action is worship, every breath a blessing. Heaven is no longer a hope. It is the natural consequence of alignment. Verse 10, thus the real world appears. The real world appears, born of the mind that knows itself divine. In the still balance of Asha, all debts are dissolved, and creation sings, I am one and I am whole. Oh, my friends, Asha allows us to recognize the real world. Truth allows us to step into the real world, the good world. Our most holy prayer, Yata'ahu. Just let the words wash over you. And then I'll lead you through the prayer. Yata'ahu vario, atar hatush, ashat chit hacha, vangus dazda manango, shatanamangus mazdai sarthremchaya hurai, ayemdre gubio ... Vosterem. My friends, in this prayer, it said when 1/3 is prayed, the evil spirit starts to shudder with fear. The evil spirit here is false information, the lie, right? The lie starts to get shaky. Before, the lie had you gripped in such fear, right? Maybe where it even made a hell on earth for you that seemed very real, right? Again, maybe OCD or different phobias like our wonderful friend Timmy was healed from. At that time, those things seemed very real because of evil spirits. There's no real devils or demons, but they're just false information. That false information, that lie, starts to get shaky when 1/3 of this is prayed. When 2/3 is prayed, it says the lie falls to its knees. Because when the truth comes, the lie loses all of its power, right? I've used the example before, like if someone told you your dog was dead or something, right? And you're sad and you're crying and your life is hell and how will you ever be happy again? Then your dog runs up, jumps on your lap and licks your face, right? Now that same person that told you the lie your dog is dead could say it again, but it wouldn't have any effect on you. You're not having the tears and the panic attack and the feel of loss, right? Because the truth is your dog's alive, licking your face right now. The lie, evil spirit, malware has lost all of its power, right? Like the thoughts that God gets angry, jealous, hate, war, kills men, women, and children. You can never please this God. You could be separated from this God. You'll be thrown in hell if you upset this God, right? All that lie has gone away because Asha, the Holy Spirit, is sitting in your lap, kissing you all over your face, saying, I love, 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 love you. You could never be separated from me. You're my everything, right? That is what truth does, right? And then when the prayer is finished, the lie and illusion, the evil spirit is just nothing, no thing. There's no experience of it. There's no evidence of it in your world. That's the power of that prayer. And it's called the prayer that God prays. And that ought to give you a good idea of what prayer is, because we were kind of taught like prayer is, again, begging for help. If it's thy will, please help me, right? No, that's not prayer. God doesn't do that. That's not how God prays, right? He's not begging some force higher than himself, right? He prays by just decreeing and declaring truth. Asha is, that's it, my friends. And the lie loses its power. Ashemvahu vahestemesti usta amai yatashai vaistai Hashem. It's said of this prayer, when 1/3 is prayed, you're agreeing to partner with the all-good God, the highest principle of God you can imagine. And to do that, though, you have to set down your false ideas of God, right, that have created the world you're trying to get away from, right, that mixed world. This is the star the Magi follow, Zoroaster, the pure light, the pure God, unmixed, undefiled, undiluted. So this true God, principle of good, is, again, the love without the hate, the peace without the war, heals but doesn't send sickness and disease, is the love without hate, right? It's just good. Just good. Let that blow your mind, right? Once you get set free, it seems so silly when you think about the definition that you were given of God before, the stories of God you heard before. They'll seem so ridiculous because it's so simple. good is good, right? Bad is bad. God is not mixed. He's not good and bad. He doesn't move down a continuum. He's not up here in his high standing, and then man's acting the fool. Now he has to look what you made me do, right? Now I'm angry. Now I hate. Now I'm smiting and killing men, women, and children, and then comes back up to his high position. No, God is just good, always calling us up here. Hey guys, it's nice up here. It's good up here. It's peaceful. It's loving. Come up, come up, come up. We rise our frequency, my friends, and we do that again by closing our eyes and ears to the false information, going inside and attuning to that true spirit. When 1/3 of Shemvahu is prayed, you're receiving that all good spirit. And you become one with it, right? That is that salvation, born again process when you become one with God. And so if you become one with one of those mixed gods, monster gods, right? And you create what you are, your life is your prayer, then you're creating your God, your idea of good in the world. So we restore God's image. It will restore our world. When 2/3 is prayed, it says you partner with the magi that were, are, and are still to come. I love that. Your family of light, your Ashavans, your truth knowers. You become a part of that family again. You always were, but you're coming back into it, right? You kind of walked away. You were never cast out. You were never kept out. But with false information, right? Again, it's like the story of Jesus, right? Is God incarnate? And what do? They crucify it. They called it a devil. They said he's of the devil, came from the devil, right? Because the information they had of God was false. And so they couldn't recognize goodness when it was right before them, my friends. And many have experienced that. And so they were actually keeping themselves out of God good. Not that you could ever be separated, but you weren't allowing yourself to live in that idea. You're always a part of it, but you were deceived, right? You were living in a hell in your own mind and creating it in the simulation. So when you partner with the all good God and your brothers and sisters of light, you're back in that family, in that oneness, in that truth of the Ashavans, truth knowers. And again, to know, this isn't just knowing information. This idea of know is like when a man would get married to his wife, the two would join on that wedding night, the two become one. It's where now you are allowing yourself just to live in that oneness of who you truly were the whole time. God, good, love, peace, joy. You're not pushing it away anymore. That's why there's always that fight in you. Like you'd read those stories in those books and it didn't feel right. You knew instinctively in that divine spark. When the prayer is finished, it says that all the prayers and knowledge and wisdom, again, from God himself and Yatahu to the Magi that were, are, and shall be, all become yours. This is, I guess, what you call that samadhi state, that born again, that awakening where you are one with God, with good. And the more of that you allow yourself to step into and stop fighting, the more the miracles and the magic that you see in your world. You know, for these last, what has been 12 years on this channel, all the miracles that we've shared, this is where it comes from. It's from how much truth are you willing to hold? How much lie and illusion are you willing to set down? Grab your book, Asha. Go to Asha 11. Asha 11 says, I will release my own ideas to receive God's ideas. Right? You got to release. You got to set down the false information, ideas, beliefs that you were given maybe through well-meaning preachers, priests, parents, grandparents, society. You got to set those down and humble yourself to raise your hands and receive from Spirit, from God good, the highest principle. It says, removing the corruption puts potentialities to their proper use. You must burn out the impurities to find the true essence. Purity is a must. That's at Zoroaster Pure Starlight. If your vessel is mixed with poison, pour it out and fill it with pure substance. It takes a long time to purify a vessel, one drop at a time, and that, in my opinion, is too much trust in time. Trust God. Pour out your vessel and let God fill it with himself. Turn the page. Asha 12 says, there's nothing for me outside. I've spent too long looking outside of myself, looking for meaning, purpose, affirmation, approval, love, truth, happiness, and even God, just to find myself still searching. So I quiet all the many thoughts and ideas and stories, and I go inside, and there I see Jesus. And I realize there is no separation from my good, my God. We are one. All the truth and happiness I've been looking for is here now. Right? Makes me think of when the disciples asked Jesus, when will the kingdom of heaven come? And he said, it's already here. Men just don't see it because of the lying illusion blocking it. As soon as you release those false ideas, there's heaven on earth. There's Asha. There's the only thing that's real, the good creator's good creation. The only thing that could come from his good mind. I realize there is no separation from my good, my God. We are one. All the truth and happiness I was looking for is here now. I am that I am. And now that I know this, it is good as God is, Asha is. Turn the page to my all-time favorite, Asha 13. Good is good and bad is bad. The original word, right? Beyond words, but the original idea of God's creation is that good comes from the Creator and no evil comes from him. Again, it's Zoroaster, unmixed, undefiled, undiluted, pure starlight. And from this original word is the spiritual world made straight and the material world brought into order. The original word of false religion is that evil comes from the Creator. And in this false idea is all the evil creatures suffer. Go to Asha 5. This is coming together perfect. Believe only the highest truth, know only good, know only Asha, and you enter Asha. Right? The path is the destination. The destination is the path. You want to step in heaven on earth, Asha, you must be Asha. You must become heaven on earth. You want love, you have to become love. It's all about resonance. My friends, what you vibrate at is what you will be sucked into, what will rush to you. You want peace, you must become the spirit of peace. As the wise Lord is perfect, so his idea of creation is perfect. This is called Asha, truth. This idea of truth is the very spirit of God. It is much more than not making a false statement. It is the true vision of God's ideal existence. It is the real above all real. So much in that. The real above all real. The highest truth, creation in perfect order and harmony, where nothing occurs at the expense or harm of another. Asha is. Asha is what's real. Asha is the truth. Asha is the only thing that could come from a good creator's good mind, and it's just good. God is just good. Restore God's image and hold that belief. There's your reason to believe. That's your reason to believe that heaven on earth is possible. Because the only thing that could come from his good mind is good. And it's unmixed, undefiled, undiluted. Heaven is available right now as you set down the false ideas. The lie, the illusion, the malware. You attune. And that's going to take us to Timmy's all-time favorite statement and teaching of Asha. Asha 3. This is the secret of everything. I have the mind of Christ. What is the mind of Christ? What was the word, right? He always said, verily, verily, I say unto you, he who holds my word has God life, good life. What is that word, right? It wasn't a bunch of words. It wasn't a sermon. What is that word? It's the original word that you and God are one. I and the Father are one. You and I are one. And my only job, we have one job, is to align with and hold continuously in mind the attributes of God. Which God, right? We've restored God's image. Not Jehovah's, Allah's, Shiva the destroyers, the highest principle you can dream of, and it's even higher than that, and it's still ever expanding, getting gooder and gooder, godder and godder. The highest principle of good, unmixed, undefiled, undiluted, doesn't get angry, jealous, hate, war, kill men, women, and children, is never confusing, is never scary, is never fearful. Anything that doesn't comfort you is a lie. It is not God. It is not good. Good is good and bad is bad. My only job is to align with and hold continuously in mind the attributes of the highest principle of God, good, love, life, peace, joy, power, and freedom, and be, right? Not just to know information, but to be it. Be the love, be the life, be the peace, be the joy, be the power, be the freedom, be God good. My mind is God. I come from good spirit. I'm made of good spirit. Of course I shall return to good spirit. My thoughts are not always God, right? We knew when we were born into a body, we stood outside of time and space before we even came into this world. And we're in Vohumana, the mind of Christ, where you and God are one. And you saw the earth crying out, help me. And you said, I want to go. And it said in our holy text, God said, you know that sin will be inside of you, mixed with you. Right? You'll always have that divine spark that cannot be taken away from you. But in your very genes and DNA will be sins and errors and addictions and violence and perversions. And son, daughter, you've never experienced that before. You've always been protected in my light and my love. But the earth needs you and is crying out for you. And if you go, I promise you, I'll be with you, in you, not away from you, inside of you, always calling you child. And as you begin to wake up and attune yourself to my voice, my original word, you'll start to change the earth with that true information. And that truth will begin to remove the suffering of that lie and illusion and that malware. And you're a hero, child, and I love you. Isn't that different than what you've been taught in the world religions, that you're a dirty sinner? You could be separated from God. He's disappointed with you. You're his hero, your child. You're his everything. And he loves you with all that he is, and you are him, and he is you. And you're moving that needle just like you promised, from hate to love, from the false ideas of God to the true ideas of God, from distress and disease to peace and joy and kindness and goodness, as we attune ourselves to that pure starlight that the Magi follow, that the Magi are. And I'm so proud of you, and I love you.